Hello and welcome. This is the monthly reading for October 2023. This is going to be a general reading for all signs. We're going to pull some tarot cards here today and see what the energies for October have for us, as well as some oracle cards at the end for a clearer picture. Just before we begin the reading, I'm going to go over just very briefly the astrology for October. This isn't everything, but this is the stuff that kind of stuck out to me as being kind of a big deal in a way. There's a lot this month that is gonna be a big deal. This is gonna be a month of release and letting go, definitely. And you'll see as I go through this list, there's kind of a lot of things that repeat around a certain thing. So let's just get into it. This isn't in any particular order, but this is kind of what I saw. So, first thing that's important, Mars will conjoin the South Node. Now we've kind of already gone through this with the last week of September, and we're still probably kind of feeling this now into October here, but especially with that full moon. Mars is very, very close to that South Node, and so we're going to be feeling a lot of this releasing and letting go, and there's a lot of South Node themes this month. Another thing to take notice of, Mercury will be entering Scorpio. We always pay attention to when planets enter a new sign. It literally changes the game in the sense of how that planet operates, or where that planet will be operating or affecting you in your life. Anytime a planet goes retrograde, direct, or changes signs, we have to take notice. So we have Mercury entering Scorpio. We will have, this is one of the two biggest things that happen in October. We are now officially in eclipse season. So the first one we'll have is a solar eclipse in Libra. So the sun will be eclipsed, and it's going to be in the sign of Libra, so it's going to be in that sign of balance. It's going to be in a sign, it's an air sign, but in the sign of balance and justice and fairness and data and analyzation. And the bigger thing here is that the sun is in that South Node, so this is a South Node solar eclipse. Our energy centers, our vitality, our life, our force is getting eclipsed very briefly. So pay a huge attention to your life around this time, especially with Libra, especially in that South Node. There's a lot of purging happening this month. So the solar eclipse will be in Libra. Mercury and Mars will have a conjunction. So a conjunction is when two planets come together and they look as like one in the sky. So Mercury and Mars is coming together. We have the microphone of the universe, the messenger of the universe, coming together with the warrior planet. So again, heavy Mars themes, basically what was going on around the full moon will be amplified and expanded on in October. We'll also have Mercury changing signs. Mercury will now enter Libra, so Mercury is getting very, very, very close to that South Node. A lot of South Node activity. Then we're going to have the Mercury Cazimi. The Mercury will be the Mercury Cazimi is whenever a Cazimi, I should say, is whenever a planet enters the heart of the sun. It is a conjunction, but it's a conjunction with the sun, and the sun is in the South Node. Now Mercury just entering Libra is going to buddy up right into the heart of the sun and take that South Node energy, take that solar eclipse energy, and just magnify it even more. Then we're going to have the sun as well conjoining that South Node. Everybody's buddying up right there. The sun will enter Scorpio later in the month, so that's a change in signs, it's a change in energy, a change in pace. We're going to have the lunar eclipse towards the end of the month in Taurus, so that's our signs of health and beauty and food and art, and just all the Venusian energies is going to get eclipsed in the end of the month. Pluto will finally become direct, so a lot of energy will be pulled focused to Pluto towards the end of the month. Hidden power structures, hidden truth. Pluto rules the underworld, so things that were buried and hidden and pushed away into the shadows are going to be pulled back into light. Mercury will conjoin the South Node. Again, another South Node thing. A lot of purging is happening in October. Venus will enter Virgo towards the end of the month, so another planet changing signs. And then lastly, Mars will change signs finally and enter Scorpio. That sounds like a lot, and that's not even all of it, but major themes here. Welcome to eclipse season, and I hope you have tissues, because this is going to be a month of purging like never before. We have the Sun, we've had Mars, we're going to have Mercury, we have Pluto going direct. There's a lot of planets buddying up with that South Node. A lot of planets here going to be forcing us to purge in a lot of different areas of our charts. Now again, it's going to be heavy in the Libra section because that's where the South Node is. So they have to go through that. But each planet kind of rules a different part of your chart, can influence it in a different way. And it's going to be interesting. And then at the end of the month, the big thing there, other than the South Node stuff and other than the eclipses, because those are huge, we have Pluto going direct. So Pluto will be pulling focus. The planet that rules the underworld, the hidden dark secrets, the power structures, the stuff that you be pushed into the shadows, is going to be pulling focus towards the end of the month. And how fitting, it's the end of the month is Samhain or Halloween. So the ruler of the underworld making an appearance during Halloween. So this is going to be quite interesting. We also do have planets changing signs. That's always a big deal. The sun changes signs. Again, always a big deal. But this month, dudes, have your tissue box ready, because we are going through a purging of a month. There's going to be a lot of releasing, a lot of letting go, a lot of old things coming up that needs to be dealt with. And if Pluto has anything to say about it, the skeletons are coming out of the closet this month. So buckle up. Alright, that's the rough astrology. That's the bullet points for the month. Of course, as we go on with each week, we're going to dive into each of those points deeper. But let's just go now and get the overall energies for October. What we're going to do here is I'm going to pull 4 cards. Going to see what Spirit has to say about them, and then we're going to end it with a couple oracle cards from the Everyday Witch set. I'm going to be using the Everyday Witch Tarot because it is October, it is witchy month, it is Samhain this month, so why not use our witch set? And then at the end, I'm going to also pull a card from the Making Magic Oracle cards. They're little, got little messages on them, and sometimes like little spellwork thingies, but most of the times it's like a little message to kind of help wrap up everything. So Spirit, please, can we have 4 cards for the month of October? Thank you very much. Let's see what we have here. Alright, we've got 7 of Cups. Ooh, double 7s. 7 of Swords. Okay, that's triple 7s. Heavy on the 7s. The Chariot. And finally, our friend, the Knight of Pentacles. Alright, let's get these put in the proper positioning. And we'll go from there. Okay, so we've got an interesting theme here. Now, I mentioned the astrology was all about purging and eclipses and changings of signs, but if we just take a look at these cards, now first of all, can we just appreciate the triple 7s? If that's not a message from the universe, I don't know. For those of you that are into numerology, I'm into it. I haven't studied it that much, but triple 7s, that's got to be something. That's like a lucky roll right there. Though the cards that they picked for the triple 7s is kind of interesting. So let's just pick these apart one at a time. Our first card here, we've got the 7 of Cups. Now, the 7 of Cups is an interesting one because it's almost overwhelming in its energy, being that there's choice here. Like, it's a good thing and a bad thing with this card, because the 7 of Cups, you've got a choice to make, or, well, at least choice. It's overwhelming. It's kind of confusing. It's all over the place. And in this position, it's the energy for the month. This is our overall monthly energy. So basically, if you had to put October in a nutshell, our energy is confusion and illusion and choice and oh my god, I don't know what to do, and there's a lot of things on the table, but like it's kind of like, no pun intended because our next card's a sword, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword, this card. It's overwhelming because you have all of this choice. So like this card is a good thing in the sense of like you've got 7 cups to choose from. Like you got a lot of choice that you can pick from. Like you got a good variety here. This is nice. But at the same time, it's like too much of a good thing. Like it's too much to choose from. It's so much choice that we kind of have analysis paralysis here, and we don't know what to focus on first. We don't know what to process, and it's hard for us to like figure out what's going on, or how do we choose when we have 7 cups, each with something good, each with something positive. Like especially in this card, let's bring it closer so you can see each one of those cups. We've got a plant, we've got some stars, we got a fiery sword, we got a book, we got love, we've got money, we've got a home, right? We got a castle. Like those are all good things to choose from. Maybe not so much the fiery sword, although I think the fiery sword's cool, but like they're all good things. How do we choose, especially if you had to pick one? How do you make that choice? You know, how do you weigh that up? So the energy here is very, very confusing almost. And you'll see it more when we get into the Chariot. And especially with this deck, they kind of do the Chariot a little different, and I think it matches the energy here. But let's just go into our next card. So again, overall energies, it's kind of confusing. Now let's take a look at this guy. This is our second 7. It is the 7 of Swords. Now normally the 7 of Swords is seen, its keywords are kind of like lying, cheating, deception, but also manipulation, but also like strategy and planning and being clever. This is a very clever card. As you can see, like based on perspective, are they sneaking in? Did they break in through that window? Or are they sneaking out? Are they bringing those swords with them? Or are they taking the swords out of that castle? Are they being deceptive? Or are they being strategic? Are they trying to prevent a fight or start one? Like, you don't know, and it's based on perspective, and it kind of ties itself in with our 7 of Cups, where the energy overall is illusion and confusion. Like, there's so much being stirred up right now, and again, that has to do with our South Node. That has to do with our purging. There's a lot of stagnant energy, old energy, or just whatever, like stuff, in that South Node, in that point of release, that is being agitated by Mars, by Mercury, by the Sun. You know, there's so much going in there that's just stirring up that old energy that now it's kind of like flying up loose. And then you have Pluto go direct, and Pluto's going to bring focus on everything that was buried underneath. So there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of stuff being brought to the surface. So the overall energy, right, being confusion, this next card here, the second card, the 7 of Swords, it's in the position of the known. It's in the position of the conscious. It's in the position of we can actively see and interact with this energy. And that energy is of strategic. It's of planning. It's of deception, maybe, or lying. So you could read this card both ways, and I will this month. Actually, I think this card has a double meaning, and as so will the Chariot. But this card has a double meaning, and the reason I say that is because it is both, in a personal sense, talking about being strategic and having a plan, which will be hard this month, but like taking the punches as they come and trying to disarm, right? Maybe we're taking the swords away. Try to disarm the situation, diffuse the situation, and take each cup as they come. And say, okay, I know, I realize this month will be confusing. I realize there's going to be a lot of tissues. I realize the eclipses are going to bring up stuff. I realize the South Node's going to get hit hard. I realize Pluto's going to try to bring up old skeletons out of the closet. And say, how can I best work with myself work with my energy, work with my time? How can I best work with my emotions, because this will be a very emotional month? How do I best work with these things that I'm given and be smart about it? How do I be smart about how I go about myself this month? How do I be smart about how I handle myself this month? How do I be smart about how I deal with what the universe gives me? Because there's going to be a lot to go through. So it's all about strategic planning on the personal stage. But if you go on the world stage, and this could even be part of the personal as well, but on the world stage, if we give the opposite meaning to this card, which it could still hold the strategy, for this, but if we give it its opposite meaning of lying and cheating and deceiving and being sneaky, if you put it on the world stage and you pair it with Pluto, who knows every skeleton in that closet, and now going direct, it spent its time looking over every little detail that was not the most favorable, we'll say. It knows everything. And having the Sun, Mars, the warrior planet, and Mercury, the messenger, go through the South Node, digging up all those old wounds, all those old things, setting the stage for Pluto to go direct. What does Pluto know that it's about to tell you? It's about, on the world stage, to make a message. Pluto rules the underworld, and it knows power dynamics. It's the planet of power. So if we put this on the world stage, what in power will be revealed? What secrets about those in power will be put on the world stage for everyone to know? We've gone through the purging. By the time Pluto goes direct, at the end of the month, will have gone through the lunar eclipses, the solar eclipse, and all of the South Node activity. The world stage has been set for Pluto, the king of the underworld, to come out and say, here are all the skeletons in the closet. Here's where all the dirty underworld stuff has been going. Here's where the power structures have failed. And this is how we move forward. So, there's going to be a lot of lying, a lot of cheating, a lot of deception possibly even brought to the surface and brought focus. And that will probably add to the confusion of the month. Not only will we have all of the personal stuff going on, all the personal, like, cleaning house, we'll already be in a whirlwind from that, especially being that this month kind of starts with the full moon. Now, yes, the full moon was in September, but that energy of that September full moon with Mars and all of that stuff kind of carries in to the beginning of October. We roll into the month with that energy, fresh off that full moon, and Mars will conjoin the South Node right away in October. It was right next to it with the September full moon, but now that we're into October, Mars can start us off with that South Node conjunction, and it's going to continue that energy of that full moon, that warrior energy will continue into the month. And it's just going to keep rolling. It's going to be one planet after the another, an eclipse, another South Node, an eclipse, a South Node, going direct, changing signs. There are so many pieces on the chessboard that are going to be moving this month that it's going to be a whirlwind. So if we have all of that, and then we end the month with Pluto saying, hey, I'm going to pull focus. Everybody look at me. Here's the report I have about everything with our power structures that's gone wrong. What do we do about it? You know, now we're already such in a tizzy that it's going to hit like a ton of bricks. You know, the fire keg has been set. Mars has laid the powder and it's ready to go. And all it takes is Pluto to be, hey, did you know about this? For everything to go ablaze. Now, that could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. We don't know. Sometimes the astrology is very, very, like, literal. Other times it's kind of wishy-washy. It depends on what Pluto brings to the surface. It depends on what the eclipses bring to us. It depends on the energies of the planets moving and the South Node conjunctions. What Pluto brings and how we act and react to Pluto depends on everything before it. But know that it's going to be an interesting month. So then if we go to our next card, the last of the triple sevens, we have our Chariot. Now, normally, this card is all about moving forward in a direct, focused action, right? It's the driver and the two sphinxes moving forward. But with this card, what's a little different about this is this driver has no idea which way to go. She could go this way, she could go that way. She needs to pick a direction and move forward. So when you pair it with the other sevens, right? We have our confusion and illusion and choice. We have our lying, deception, and strategy. And now we need to pick a direction. We need to pick focus. We need to move. That's our unknown. That's the subconscious. That's what we can't see for this month, is how we're moving forward. The theme of this month will be, how do we take all of this confusion and move forward? What do we do? We need to pick a direction. We need to be in unison. We can't continue this split of this way and that way. We need to be together and focused, because that's the only way we're actually going to move forward. And being that you thought we were done with Pluto, being in this South Node-ish type of position, this subconscious, unable to be seen underworld theme of this position, which where the Chariot's at, right? We already know about these things. We already see this energy. You don't see this coming until it happens. And what this is Pluto. Pluto will bring up which direction we go. What Pluto brings in our personal lives and on the world stage will set the ground, because now we're off to the races, right? We can end the month with the Knight of Pentacles. This is change, this is movement, but it is slow, and it is deliberate, and it is daily, and it's on the earth plane. It's a good thing. It's great. It's the work that needs to be done. But this month is going to be a doozy. All right, let's get some oracle cards just to see what Spirit has to say. Any last messages for this month? Although I feel like it's kind of been a mouthful so far. Let me get some oracle cards, please, guys. All right, we've got strength and resilience. How fitting. And one more from this set, please. There you go. We could not make that up. We have strength and resilience, which this month is going to be tough. Not going to lie, this month you're going to need the tissues. You're going to need some strength. We're going to go through a bit of a roller coaster. And here's our South Nodes in a card. Affirmation for healing the heart. We are going to need to do some healing, some deep wound work, and work with that South Node, work with Pluto, and get some healing done. Alright, let's get a card from the Making Magic set just to see if there's anything else that Spirit wants to add, and then we'll wrap this up. Deep breaths, everybody. Deep breaths. Don't worry, we didn't get the Tower, we didn't get the Devil, we didn't get anything scary. Although those cards aren't bad or scary on their own. We didn't get any of the bad cards. Just a little bit of confusion, just a little bit of healing, a lot of moving on the world stage. Eclipses, yes, but we've been here before. We can do it again. And it's good. It's good to get this stuff cleaned up. You need to get your house cleaned every once in a while. Otherwise, you're bringing in baggage, and we don't want that. All right, we've got achievement. All right. So the message overall for this, of course, is healing and growth and strength, but achievement at the end. Win the award, accolade, or contract. So this is good. We need to get this done. This is going to be for the better good for all of us, personally and on the world stage. So that's the month. As I said, we're going to go through each of those astrology points and break down the month week by week as we go through October. We're going to cover everything to do with South Node, everything to do with lunar and solar eclipses. We're going to make sure we cover Pluto when we get to that, but otherwise, this is the overall energies for the month, just so you can be prepared. Now, it's not like the end of the world here now, unless the astrology wants to be super literal, but I don't see end of the world stuff here. I see a lot of soul searching. I see a lot of lessons learned. I see a lot of things being brought to the surface. I see a lot of cloudy, foggy energies in front of us. But know that we do make it through it. Everyone will make it through it. And I'm actually quite excited to see what Pluto brings to the world stage and to our lives personally. You know, there's so much going on this month. A lot of chess pieces being moved. But until then, that's the astrology for this month. That's October. Thank you so much for coming. As always, there'll be links to all the cards used down below, and as well for where you can find things for personal readings if you'd like. And as well, the free birth chart software will be down there. As always, everything will be linked down below. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope you have a good month, and we'll see you for the first week of October's reading. So until then, thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.